And holds a narrow lead, 5-4. He's had a maximum break in the final already. Ordinary season he's had, of course, he was runner in the English Open. He beat Ronnie O'Sullivan yesterday. He needs 5 more frames to win the £175,000 first prize. And of course, Tom Ford has also played some sublime snooker in the tournament. He's beaten the likes of Mark Selby, Barry Hawkins, of course, Jordan Brown in the semis with these 3 centuries on the spin. He's very much in this, of course, just a frame behind. So not a final most would have predicted, probably anyone would have predicted, but they've earned their place. Between them, they've knocked out some of the real big hitters. They've played some terrific snooker, and we're looking forward now to seeing how this tournament concludes. Huge crowd in, wondering what's going to happen next. It's been a nip and tuck affair all the way through. He may well continue to the finish line.
Thank you. Frame 10, Tom Ford to break.
There is the International Championship trophy, and here is the start of the final session. It's 5-4 to Zhang. It's first to 10 to become champion. Neil Foles alongside me. I think we can say, Neil, with some degree of certainty, this is the biggest session of snooker that they have both played.
For sure. This is a terrific match to watch, I think, for so many reasons, so many side issues. But for now, I guess just winning a ranking event of this magnitude is the main one. But of course, we know there are other spin-offs, if you like, big ones as well. I think it's important to remember what this match means in the context of their careers, though, just about winning something. And who could argue these have been the best 2 players? I think they absolutely deserve to be there, and also have played brilliantly. The first session was pretty gripping stuff, wasn't it? Just that the 1-4-7 break that Zhang made. Just very, very interesting. It's going to go deep as well, I suspect. Tom Ford's already directing traffic.
Well, of course, it's a few weeks since we saw Zhang in the English Open final, 7-3 up to Judd Trump. He was beaten, but he said himself he's taken a lot of positives, a lot of confidence from that run. And my word, he's played well this week. In terms of this morning's session, he actually outpointed Ford by 301 points. There's only 1 frame in it. Of course, he had 2 centuries, including a maximum, which accounts for that, as Ford knocks a great long red in. They both played superbly in the tournament, but of course now the pressure's really on, so it's going to be, to a degree as well, who stands up to it with the finish line approaching for what will be, of course, an undoubted career highlight. 23 seasons on tour, Tom Ford. So this has been a long time coming. It's only his 3rd final.
It's a very well-controlled shot. I think control is his strong suit, Tom Ford. When he's in amongst them, he's actually a really beautiful player. With, you know, we speak about players and their cue ball control. There are some who are just pop their way out of trouble and don't have the touch, but he's a real touch player. As was seen in that semi-final and all those centuries in a row, just when he needed them most. Yeah, I mean, it's awkward, and he looks a little nervy already. I can imagine tonight could go that way.
Yes, of course, they've had a good couple of hours break. Now it's into the most important session of the whole week. If Zhang were to win, he'd be forward in the top 16. Ford's already confirmed the final. And of course, the winner does also get in the Champion of Champions next week to play Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Slightly odd they've never played before, these two. When you think Zhang has been a professional since 2009, he's dropped off the tour a couple of times, but you know he's been around for enough years, and Tom been a professional over 20 years, 23 years. But it's the first meeting of those two. The other thing is they're not that surprising finalists. They've both been in ranking finals this year. So I suppose on that basis, we shouldn't be that shocked. The red on the right is always a little bit of a concern on the safety shots. I don't think it's quite in play unless there's a safety shot much too thick on that side. But from further across with the cue ball, it would definitely be in play. Hit it on the way back up.
Of course, the interesting dynamic is that they're both looking for a maiden title victory. Tom Ford, the two finals he's been in, he lost to Mark Selby and Ali Carter, experienced winners. Of course, Zhang lost to Judd Trump. So it's a slightly different feel here. Big chance, and that is going to clearly put more pressure on, I guess, the further we go into this session. There's never been more than a frame in it so far.
What a terrific shot that was. It didn't look like there was much room. He almost had to use the blue ball as a guide. Just missing the blue would be enough to pop the red. Brilliant shot.
Well, he had the earlier chance in the frame. It came to very little. You just get the feeling he needs to just pot a few here, just to settle back into the match as it restarts. Take himself potentially today off that list that no one really wants to be on yet to win a ranking title. He's pretty high up, I think.
They've played a very safe option there, just to land on the one red. But the angle is not great, and the cueing on the brown is not ideal. I don't know. He can just get to the cue ball, perhaps to stop it going into the cluster.
17.
They always say that a massive percentage of playing this game is skill. That's obviously correct. A lot of it is in the mind, between the ears. I think we're sure to find out with these two where they stand on that score in a match of this magnitude. It's just overhit and ready.
21.
The top of the little bunch of five was potable to right corner. It still is, but it's thin from where he's landed.
Yes, you sort of saw him trying to sort of stop the white with his hand there, to try and encourage it to slow up. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. There's nerves out there, but that's inevitable. As we said, this is the biggest session either of them has ever played, with a massive prize on the line. And all eyes on them as well. It's a full house here.
Yeah, this plant, if he was right behind this, I shouldn't think there's any way he would miss it. But the fact that he's got to cut the first red onto the second red full on, he could. Nice. Nicely done. The plant was very much his second option. He wasn't playing on that. Could have done with putting the black into the
29.
right side of the pocket and taking the cue ball round. Went in a little too straight. I think he's running away here by the looks of things up the table.
Tom Ford, 29.
In terms of the rankings, by the way, I say Ford's in the 16 either way, but if he were to win, he'd be 10th. So that would be some achievement, because not just in, but kind of in for the foreseeable. And then you look at the Masters, you look at the Crucible. There he is suddenly, after all the years of having to sort of slog to try and get in those events.
Yeah, sure, I agree. And also because it's very recent points, and as we've said, without keeping on about it, he'll be in all of the Players' Series, or certainly the winner of this match will. But if it was to be Tom, there's no way he can lose that ranking. I mean, I don't know how he could possibly fall down the rankings in that period of time. So he's in a very healthy position, whoever wins this match. If it's Ford, it's, as you say, deep into the 16. Probably good enough. And it only takes one good week to springboard yourself up the rankings.
Yeah, and just financially, I mean, it's 175,000, which is plenty as the first prize. But the guarantees with all the various events you get in, I reckon it's worth at least another 100,000. So, there really is a lot on the line today. Well, yeah, he's taking it on, but he's sort of pointing accusingly at the red, which has gone towards that pocket. He's not hanging over it.
No, well, he's slightly showing the more animated gestures already in this session. It's only just started. So he needs to keep a lid on things, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, outwardly, Zhang is the cooler. Even when he made the maximum, you know, there was no theatrics. There was a sort of very slight clenched fist and a pretty good smile, and that was it. So he's not that sort of character, really, to sort of show emotion.
Zhang down 1.
Just thinking about matches where there's a lot at stake. Clearly, the World Final every year is huge for so many reasons. It's the biggest game of snooker on our snooker calendar, and it was actually a brilliant final between Luca Bressel and Mark Selby. But when it comes to financial gain, this is up there with the Milkins victory in the Welsh Open against Sean Murphy. There was 150,000 on top of the 80,000 first prize. Okay, that wasn't to count towards Milkins' ranking, but it was a lot of money to be playing for, and he came through it and won. Good safety shot. It's another very well played shot. He gave it some thought, and there might be an escape route. The red to the left and below the pink, he might be able to get a thin edge on that without hitting anything on the way through, but it's got to be thin. Looks like he might be playing some kind of slow containing shot. Ten's first frame, isn't it? With Ford desperately trying to get back to all level.
Yeah, I think it can often go like this when there's been a break. If this had just carried on from this morning, maybe it would have been a bit more sort of free-flowing. But the 2-hour gap has reminded them of how huge this session of snooker is. Zhang looking to become the 6th Chinese player to win a world ranking title. And I'm sure Tom's family are gathered around the television and biting fingernails, really proud of the way he's played so far in the tournament and cheering him on, of course, this afternoon.
So, an opportunity here. Red to middle, if it goes in, then there's plenty available. And he'd be very... It was an attempt at a sort of a containing, slowly played shot, but it hasn't quite worked out for Zhang. So, he's been very patient, Tom Ford. Yes, he has a lead, but he was hoping that something might come of his patience, and it has.
Eight. Nine.
One thing he has been trying to work on is his mental attitude, his approach, trying to stay positive. He's been working with
16.
a mindset coach, Sabrina Francis, for a few years now. I think you are who you are, and it's not always easy to change that, but it's definitely helped him at times this week, I think, just being positive. We saw it against Jordan Brown. He switched it up towards the end there. Really sensational for those final few frames.
17.
It's very interesting, isn't it, that whole concept? And it certainly has worked for players.
22.
Dr. Stephen Peters, of course, with Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's like someone's not trying there to help you pop balls or tell you what shot to play. There are coaches for that as well, but it's
23.
for the other part. I think, what did you describe it the other day as dispelling the negative energy? I think that sums it up perfectly. Easy to talk about, but someone to go out there and help a player is a triumph, I think.
Well, this frame has taken a bit of time to get going, but Ford is 2 pots away from winning it and levelling this match yet again. You do kind of think, you know, it's going to be very close to the end here. It was a bit nervy as the session began, but Ford will hopefully, from his perspective, settle now that he's won this frame. Just make sure of this red.
39.
So still, there hasn't been more than 1 frame between them.
45. 51. 52. 58.
Yeah, I mean, after all the tension and the early nerves, I think the way he got this frame one was classic. You know, he put Zhang in trouble 2 or 3 times, and his attempt at just playing a containing shot didn't really work out, and he's cleared up from it. Well, he's certainly got the frame one from it.
64.
So he's won it in very orthodox and classy style.
66. 69. 73. 78. 84.
Quite simply, the biggest session of snooker either has ever played. It's Tom Ford who wins the first frame of it
91.
with a fine 91 clearance. It took a bit of time to get going, that frame, but Ford in the end settled. We're off and running then in the final session. All square, 5 each. So 5 each. Tom Ford has won the first frame of the concluding session of this International Championship final. Biggest
Frame 11. Zhang
ranking
break.
event of the season so far. There's the trophy, of course, last won by Judd Trump 4 years ago before the pandemic. A couple of latecomers just taking their seats. Don't want to miss a minute of this. It must have been so special to be in the audience for the maximum, to see it live in the flesh. Brilliant. Ryan Day maybe doesn't think it's so brilliant because, of course, he made one in the qualifiers a couple of months ago and was on course to win that high break prize, but will now have to share it.
I always thought there would be another 147 this week, given that the tables are playing so nicely. I have to say, I didn't think it'd be quite this long, but it was worth waiting for. Someone shouting out, I think, for Zhang from quite a long way back in the arena. Well, the key to that shot, not only the pot, but he's held the cue ball so that it's potable for the black. Whereas a lot of the time, if you don't hit that and get the bite on it, the cue ball will end up on the cushion, bottom cushion. Not so here. Well, they didn't really open, as you saw, and I don't think that's going to amount to very much here. Red close to the left middle without going in. Just people who like the stats and the numbers. It's another maximum in a final. And we went a long time without seeing one. But we've had a few, haven't we, recently, or in the last couple of seasons. That world final. One of Mark Selby just added to a great occasion. Turkish Masters, champion of champions, recent years. We've had maximums made in the final. Kind of adds to the little bit of, not importance, but to the majesty of making one, isn't it, to do it on the big stage.
Yes, and it was the 192nd on the official list, so you would think probably this season we're going to get to the 200th. Mark Selby made the 100th 10 years ago at the UK Championship.
Possibly at the World Championships, Dave. It could be the 200th.
Yeah, probably Judd Trump will probably make it. It'll be his 1000th century as well, all rolled into one. Anyway, that's all to come. But right now, can Zhang get back to a rich vein of scoring? He's been slightly on the back foot in this session so far. As another phone goes off, the referee laying down the law, not for the first time. Lu Zhilin.
I'm not sure what was said, but they were very strong words. Yeah, he's never unlucky when you see that little kick of his foot. I'm not sure that's going to help. But he caught the safety shot too thin, as you know, from his reaction.
Well, there you are. And you could hear a bit of disapproval, actually, from others in the audience there, because she couldn't have been any stronger with the initial phone going off, and then about a minute later another one does.
Yeah, definitely a few edgy shots being played on both scores. Tom has settled the better of the two, it seems, for tonight. He'd have been very unlucky to have gone in off in the right middle. Played a good shot there.
Well, it's another example of his positivity, you know, taking that on. That's how he, as I say, pulled away in that semi-final against Jordan Brown from 6-5 down. And the fact he's already won a frame tonight, he's feeling the better of the two, so he senses maybe a chance here just to make a little move in this final.
Seven.
Another example of his beautiful cue ball control there. Could not have placed it better on the red. And when it's all happening for Tom, he's got a lovely slow backswing and a smooth follow through. All the things you're meant to have, but under pressure you can lose. I think it's more noticeable now than ever.
13.
His cue action used to be a little quicker than this. Next shot is a big one. Going to hit reds.
20.
And getting onto his colour, which will, of course, be an attempt at the black.
21. $28.
Again, that's a nice shot. He really trusted his cue ball there just to graze off the other red. Done well.
36.
He's done well to get up the table from that straight angle on the black.
Yeah, and in the end, it was a bit of an unexpected miss, really. He's just starting to look good there.
Well, they've missed, I think, 3 rest shots into that pocket already in this evening session between them. Tom Ford missed a sitter. That one wasn't much more difficult, and Zhang missed a comfortable red as well.
This is the problem with Steve Davis's famous old maxim that, you know, you have to play like it means nothing when it means everything. The problem is it does mean everything. And there's so much on the line tonight. It's very hard to shut it all out.
Yeah, there's nerves around. I mean, I think Steve knew it meant everything as well when he said it, didn't he? But it's a question of he knows also that, as we all do really, in anything you do, the harder you try, sometimes it can just be counterproductive. If you try too hard, you want something too much, you won't ever get it. So I think he kind of was getting it, just blocking out all the traffic, which again, easier to say than always do. And let's be honest, players have been better than others over the years. I mean, our good friend and colleague Stephen Hendry in his prime was able to do just that, block everything out. He's one of the best I've ever seen at it. Tom will be really disappointed that he didn't go further with that break because he was looking pretty good until he missed that rest shot. Occasionally you can be playing well somewhere near the top of your game, but you can still miss rest shots because it's kind of a different way of hitting the ball. Different technique. Now the cue ball is excellent, just as well. I don't know if he can get through to that red close to the right corner. Cue ball has to travel a long way. Just sneak through.
One.
Well, the brand would be the positive shot, or because take him down for a red. But, you know, you can see these being missed even on these pockets. The extra pace needed. And look at the length of the bridge he's got. Goodness.
Five.
So is this the moment Zhang finds a bit of fluency in this session? Apart from the maximum, he finished off in the last two frames really strongly. Breaks of 86 and 101 to just hold the edge when they came back. And he's now had 22 centuries this season. Now, last season he made 9. In his career he's made 125. So he's made
13.
just under a fifth of all his centuries in his career this season alone.
14.
Yes, it's been remarkable, actually. It's not as if he's just a young player who's got natural improvement, but there's certainly some belief that he's never had before. Might be a bit unlucky there.
21.
Nothing appears to go. I just wonder if he can see enough of the on the left cushion to play the double. And you can't be sure that it's a shot to nothing if he can see enough at all.
Zhang 21.
Well, shame from his perspective he couldn't continue there. It's maybe his best scoring chance of the evening so far. But I think if you hadn't watched any of it all week, you're just tuning in, you would know this was the final session of the final. It's got a real tense feel about it.
Well, can he get through to it? I thought that the brown looked like it rolled back onto its spot there. Must just be able to. It was awkward though. Yeah, this is tense, all right. Imagine if it went to 9-all, what it would be like. Be worth seeing from our point of view, but the pressure could be something else. Well, if you didn't already know, that shaded area is where players cannot reach directly due to a ball being in the way. Simple as that. Oh, there's all sorts going on, isn't there? That was very close to obviously going in off, which I was wondering if it would have been a better thing to go in off than stay where it is. But clearly from hand, he had a shot at the left-hand red. I suppose the next shot will tell us if it was better or not, if this goes in. Beautiful shot, that. Really nice control of the cue ball.
One.
So the forward safety mistake, and indeed it was a mistake, could be costly.
Yeah, it's a great chance to get on the scoreboard himself tonight and really settle down. The maximum, I mean, all maximums obviously are brilliant, but there was one particular shot on the last red to the far corner of the yellow pocket that he had to negotiate. And even then, after that, had to hold himself together, which he did.
Good kiss, unplanned, I would say. Yeah, I mean, they're all brilliant, aren't they? But like you say, there's always, you feel a really classy shot in there somewhere in a maximum. And what a time to make one, you know, at the start of a big final like this.
Yes, I mean, it's been an extraordinary few weeks for him. It's worth saying he was relegated from the tour as recently as 20. Got back on the following year through the Chinese Billiards and Snooker Association tour. So, you know, in other circumstances, that might have been it for his career. He might have been off and doing something else, but he got back on. And here we are a couple of years later, and he's enjoying an extraordinary spell.
Yeah, I mean, that finally lost to Judd Trump. You think about it, you know, 7-3 up it could have been a complete one-off in his career. Say, okay, well, Zhang did well that week. Then he disappears back doing what he's been doing all the way through, being a good player without achieving anything. But he's gone from strength to strength since then. You know, he played in the 2010 World Championships at the Crucible, played Stephen Hendry long before he'd retired and came back. So he's been around a while.
Yeah, I remember watching him qualify. He beat Ricky Walden in the final round of qualifying at the English Institute of Sport up in Sheffield. And they were 8 each, and he finished off with 2 centuries. And no one really heard of him by then. It was his first year on tour. And that really was a memorable moment. You think this guy has got something special. It's taken a while for it to sort of come out in a way.
One. 28. $29.
So this frame has eventually taken a similar pattern to the first of the evening. Bit of nerves. The safety battle this time won by Zhang. In the previous frame it was Ford who won the safety battle and then did just about the same thing at the end. Zhang's got his lead back. And there's still precious little between this pair.
44. 46.
Yes, he needed this, I think, just to obviously win the frame, but also just settle into this session.
49.
It's noticeable the way he's spoken about that English Open defeat. He has taken the positives, how well he played, and, you know, he didn't do that much wrong. He didn't crumble from 7-3 up. Judd Trump turned it round through his own terrific play. The odd ball missed, but that's going to happen. But overall, Trump won it rather than Zhang losing it.
58. 64.
This has been a typically polished break, very nicely controlled, unfussy, but superb at the same time. 71, the clearance from Zhang Anda. These two just cannot be prized apart. There's still only a frame between them. Zhang back in front at 6-5. Well, this is the first ever meeting between Tom Ford and Zhang Anda. It's going to be a memorable one. It's the final of the International Championship, and Tom Ford levelled at 5 each, but Zhang has won the second frame of the evening, 6-5 to him. It's first to 10 to become champion. And still yet to be more than a frame between them so far. Can Zhang maybe just open a little lead here? If he won this frame, the next one will be interesting before the interval. Obviously, if Ford wins this frame, then again, we're going to be going to the interval with just one in it. I do feel, though, this has been a long time coming for Tom Ford. When he was a boy in Leicester, he played alongside the likes of Mark Selby and the other sort of leading juniors, and he was very much earmarked as a potential champion. He won the English under-15s, the English under-18s, a lot of junior events. But, of course, he's seen Selby become an all-time great with his 4 world titles and all the rest. And he's still looking for his first ranking title.
well thought out in a way. It didn't look much of a shot, but, you know, with the red up the table, there was no safety shot back down there. There was no containing dump shot. So he's kept himself safe for a shot by playing that. Sometimes those little shots go unnoticed, but if you've got to stop your opponent from getting in, there's usually a way. It's a question of finding out which way it is. Chance to get in behind brown here, maybe brown and yellow, and playing safe. Well, he called it thin. Not such a well-played shot that time.
I'm sure Ding Junhui will be interested in the result of this final. Zhang has already knocked him out of this tournament. If he wins it, he'll take his champion of champions place, and he'll also relegate him from the top 16, which means Ding will have to qualify for the UK Championship. Obviously, if Ford wins, the champion of champions place is still taken, but Ding will hold on to 16th place, so will be seeded for York. Remember, he was runner-up there last year.
Well, the keyboard just coming out of the bunch has left him good queuing on the red up the table here, Tom. Play it into the yellow pocket, leave the cue ball over near the right middle. In case he misses it, if it goes in, there's a chance in the offing. He missed a similar shot into the right corner. He waves his arms about. I don't know where he thought that red might end up.
Put it this way, had he potted it, he wouldn't have left it over that pocket. So, you know, if you miss, then you can leave them on.
One. My papa.
don't know whether Tom feels he's been unlucky. There was actually an extraordinary fluke this afternoon in the first session, which Zhang got a red to the right corner quite early in the frame, and the frame was absolutely live. And I have to watch it on replay 3 times to work out which red had actually gone in, because the one he played went all around the angles and hit another one and another one. He's played some really nice shots, Zhang. That little shot, the cue ball did not run out of control. He's become a very good player to watch. I wasn't always thinking that way, in that he used to be very slow, very deliberate, looking at everything that you can think of. He's playing with a lot more freedom and a lot more adventure than previously.
Twenty. $21. $28.
Perfect.
29.
Of course, the other factor in that English Open final, I wonder, did he feel any pressure? Because Judd Trump had put a new tip on between sessions, which is not something he'd ever expect a player to do. Maybe he felt he should win it. He went 7-3 up, first to 9. Missed a couple of shots. Not many. It's not worked out well. That contact, the fuller, squarer contact on the pink might have seen a very different result to that one.
But there is a difference between them. There was absolutely no reaction at all from Zhang, either against himself or whatever. There's just nothing. And that's kind of just how he is. Back to the safety, 34-point lead.
Zhang 34.
Now, does Tom feel obliged to maybe take this red on? It's difficult, but he could run this round 2 cushions, get on the black now. I'm saying it like it's an easy shot, but clearly it's not. What alternative shot has he got that's any use to him? Well, he's looked at the other reds. I think he might have to go for this.
1.
Yeah, another nice pot that. He's one of these players, you wouldn't describe him as a flair player, but he's an attacking player. And we saw in that last frame, once he got in, controlled the break really nicely.
Yeah, he's more of an attacking player this season with results to go with it.
4.
So, second bite at the cherry in this frame with a chance to open up the 2-frame lead for the first time.
5.
He'd love to have been on the pink there, but he hasn't quite managed it. So the angle from blue to next red, it's not easy. It would have been so simple had he been on the pink. I think he's held the blue spot of all things. The ball's could have finished anywhere there. He could have been behind the blue when it's respotted or anything.
I suspect Tom might have noted that one. It was a little fortunate, really.
Well, he is attacking, but surely here
11.
he can put Tom in quite a lot of trouble. If you could get tight in behind a bolt colour, you're looking at the table and thinking, which red could he roll up to? It wouldn't be so easy.
Zhang 11.
Well, he hasn't even snookered him after all that. Could have rolled behind the green or anything there. Should have done better with that shot. That's a very good safety shot from Tom Ford. Well, it's not quite a critical moment in the match, but it's potentially a significant one. Zhang was in there with a chance to build a 2. He was derailed, and now he's in a spot of bother of his own. If Tom could find a way back into this frame, that could be not so much a turning point, but it will have stopped Zhang in his tracks.
Well, this could be a big moment in this final. If you can knock this in. Not to beat.
Now, and does the red go past the pink? I suspect it's tight, but we'll have to wait and see what he comes up with. I think it will go. he wouldn't expect to get back to the table forward. I think he feels that this frame is gone.
Eight.
Interesting set of balls here, the way they're laid out. I mean, I wonder if he'd consider disturbing those three reds. I think you've got the pink over the pocket. And pink to red following this one, it could go wrong. There is one red that he could land on. I don't know why he wouldn't just try and disturb some reds there. Needs to ensure that he's on a red now, or else he might be wishing he had. Well, I suppose he's okay. He's a bit low on the red, but playing to the scoreboard, he only needs one. One more pot.
15.
Yeah, it's taken some winning this frame, but as you say, this is the ball that will get him to snookers required. And a key moment in the final, this, because barring snookers, he'll be too clear for the first time, and it puts pressure on Ford for the next frame, the last before the interval.
16.
Just to stay in touch. Well, it's his frame now. What an interesting story it is with Zhang, because I think with the system in China, you know, you expect new faces to come along and new young players to crop up, but he's been around a while. He's been first term pro 2009. He's not a new face. He's just taken a while to reach this level.
21.
Worth waiting for, though, the way he's played here. And, of course, in Brentwood as well.
22. $29. 30. 36. 37.
Well, he's a very impressive cueman. I mean, I've always felt that his cue action was nice, lovely delivery of the cue. Occasionally has gone into his shell in matches. When you think of
45.
Chinese talent coming through over the years, his name is very rarely on the list. As Dave said, he's been around a while, but even when he was a younger man, he kind of didn't think of him in the same way as, you know, some of the players that have come through from China,
51.
other parts of the world. And he did spend a lot of time in the UK, you know, over in Essex practicing,
52.
playing in Essex. I think that he was given the name Mighty Mouse. But he didn't quite cut it originally, but he's certainly doing so now.
56. $60.
So he didn't make the most of the earlier chances, but again, once he's got in here, it's another very, very solid break. He's had 9 centuries in the tournament, and this is now his 27th half century.
65.
It's a lot of heavy hitting, to say the least. So 65 from
65
Zhang. For the first
frame.
time, he's 2 clear in the final. The next frame is a big one. He leads Tom Ford 7-5. (7-5) to Zhang in the final of Snooker's International Championship here in Tianjin.
Zhang to break.
He's 3 frames away from becoming a ranking event winner, landing the £175,000 first prize and opening the door to the top 16 and all the benefits that come with it. Champion of Champions next week. There's a long list of spin-offs, but right now it's about trying to win 3 more frames. He doesn't seem the sort to get ahead of himself, but this is big pressure, and of course it's the second time this season where he's led a final, didn't win the first one.
Yeah, Tommy's not quite doing it at the moment, right when he needs it. That was not an easy shot. He has left this thin red, though. He may have hoped it would be a shot to nothing, that long red. Well, does he fancy this blue at range?
Well, you saw Tom Ford had the sort of perfect view of that, didn't he? And it was a terrific pot from Zhang. Just spent a moment to compose himself before playing it.
6. Seven. Nine. Ten.
He's wheeling that cue ball up. Is he on the red? I suspect not from his body language, no. Any further across as we look to the left with that cue ball, that red would have slotted through the gap.
Well, a little shake of the head, which for Zhang is quite a reaction, actually, and this is why this red has come out the back. So, not good now. Can Tom Ford get in here Needs to make something happen soon, you feel. Sort of creaked in, didn't it? But a great kiss on the blue.
Yeah, the kind of kiss which could take him into the bunch. He did put his hand up to sort of slightly apologise. It was a good kiss. We'll see how good in maybe after this shot. Did not play it well. Completely overscrewed it.
6.
Yeah, he didn't get into the meat of the pack, did he? Just to say, if you're watching on Eurosport 2, we're going over to Eurosport 1. So that's just to, if you're viewers on Eurosport 2, Eurosport 1 will pick up the coverage shortly. Well, he'd be really disappointed with that visit.
Tom Ford 6.
Zhang leading 7-5 here for those of you just joining us in the final of the International Championship. It's first to 10. Who wins? Tom Ford has just had a chance in this frame. It didn't come to much. It was 5-4 to Zhang when they resumed. Ford won the first. He made a fine 91. But since then, Zhang really has dominated. And another chance here.
I think it might be okay. He just pushed the red down a little bit. Suspect he's on the red at the edge of the bunch. But it was touch and go. He didn't just cling to the red he's close to. Yeah, he's fine. Beautiful shot that. I mean, that's exactly what he did. He tried to steer the cue ball back via the cushion.
I mentioned that he dropped off the tour most recently in 2020. One of the reasons was he didn't play in the World Championship. Remember, it was rescheduled. It was the height of the pandemic. His son was actually born, and he elected to stay, understandably, in China. It was a concerning time for everyone, but didn't get to play in the World Championship, lost his place. So if you'd have said to him then that, you know, 3 years on, this would be happening, he might not have believed it.
11.
As you said, you fall off the tour, and there's not always any guarantees that that player will get back on. It's not easy to go through different channels to just get your tour card back.
Twelve. 19. 20.
Well, again, it's a big passage of play to extend the lead and leave Tom Ford feeling
27.
less than chipper about the way the evening session is shaping up. Zhang been doing
28.
basically the whole season. Might try and play the cannon on one of the reds at the edge of the bunch here. Yeah, played. I was going to say to perfection. He's a little close to the red,
35.
but that's how he meant it to be. Hitting the other red and holding for this one.
Yes, it seems like he's made his move in this final.
26.
He's looking the cooler of the two, certainly. And he's starting to put away these chances. Not much more to do to open an 8-5 lead. Two more pots, in fact.
43.
So Zhang is going to be 2 away from winning this title. Tom Ford needs the interval, you feel, to try and collect his thoughts. We know he can turn it on and win frame after frame with big breaks. He did it against Jordan Brown. Of course, the difference there, he was only 6-5. This is a more serious situation for the Leicester man.
Yeah, I mean, he trailed 3, but of course there was more leeway with that 3-frame deficit than there is here.
It's another half century. It's another good contribution to go with all the others he's had in this tournament.
60.
This event for him, it began in September in Sheffield in the qualifying. He saw off Alexander Ursenbacher. Here he's beaten Mark Williams, Liam Pullen, Lou Hyschen, Ding Junhui, of course Ronnie O'Sullivan. And now needs 2 more frames when they come back after the interval to get his hands on that trophy. And actually, when he went to those qualifiers, he hadn't actually done anything all season. He did nothing at the Championship League, lost 5-0 to Williams European Open, lost first round of the British Open. It was pre the English Open, so it really was the start of everything. In fact, that qualifying match with Ursenbacher.
73.
Yeah, and those defeats, that 5-0 defeat to Williams and British Open defeat would have almost gone unnoticed because that was the kind of thing that was happening to him. You know, everything seems to have been turned on its head for reasons we don't really know. It's nice to think that a player on the tour in the mid-ranking positions can turn it on and play like this and achieve
81.
what he's achieving.
Yeah, I think it would give
83.
all the players in that sort of bracket in the middle ranks hope and belief. They see a player come out the pack. We've seen it, the likes of Jordan Brown, Fang Zhengyi in recent years as well. It can happen. They're all good enough.
Yeah, belief is definitely the word, isn't it? Because, like you say, the ability of many
86.
players on the tour is right up there with some of the top players. But they don't win very often.
90.
The formula, Zhang, and it's a pretty good combination of, you know, solid defensive game, but when the chance comes, he will go for it.
Well, last season, the whole season, he made 9 centuries. This pink is for his 10th century of this international championship. So that shows you the improvement right there. It's his 3rd of the final, and it leaves him 2 frames from winning the final. 108, another magnificent clearance from Zhang. He's a big favourite now Tom Ford won the first of the evening, but 3 on the spin from Zhang. So as they go to the final interval here at the International Championship, it's Zhang Anda leading by 8 frames to 5. The whole week has been building up to this. So Tom Ford, he's played superbly in this event. Can he find one of those bursts of scoring? You feel what he needs now. If he can start to reel frames off, he can still win this. Has to start in this frame, though. And Zhang Anda, well, he has played superbly. He's made his 3rd century of the day. One of them was a maximum, of course. Needs to keep it going for 2 more frames and he'll be champion. And that means we'll be seeing a lot more of him this season in various other events, the Players' Series, the Champion of Champions, seeded at the UK Championship. Well, on another day, he might have just knocked that red into a potable position, but he's okay. Well, you heard the sort of groan, but, you know, can't pot everything. Ford's in a position now where he kind of needs to pot everything every chance he gets.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you can keep Zhang on 8 frames rather than 9, and then once you get to the point where he just needs a frame, anything can happen. He can just win it without you even making a mistake. So he's just got to try and keep him on 8 for a long time.
1.
Ultimately, like you say, though, he's going to have to pot a lot of balls. That little nudge off the bump of the middle pocket there just pushed it straight on this blue. Just off straight anyway. It's a great effort. I don't think he had much of an angle to play with. Had he not hit the bump, though, he'd have been probably perfect to go into them.
6.
Terrific shot.
7.
Only just enough room to get through to it full ball. If he plays the pink, he'll be screwing off the top of the bunch, trying to get them open. Oh no. Oh no. That is not what the doctor ordered. If there's any crumb of consolation, I don't think he's left one. Don't think he has anyway. But that red could have been his. Another wild safety shot. Certainly not well controlled anyway. That was an absolute mile away. And he got a nice kiss there on the brown ball. If Tommy's looking for little snippets of good luck for his opponent, that was one of them, because he missed the red by a considerable margin and got lucky. That's a good shot, though. Very well played. Not straight. Not straight. It's finished straight. The reason I say that, of course, it means it's very hard to get out of bulk close to a red if you've got no angle on the object ball to play with. You might have to play it cushion first. That's what he did. That's a very good shot. Deserves to be on this red, surely. Suffering. Well, that expression says it all. He played an inventive shot. Work out.
Foul and a miss. Tom for
It's
5.
not likely to cheer him up.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how much work you've sort of done off the table. You know, what's happened in this frame has been horrible for Ford. Knocking the red in, not getting on that red off after the good brown. Now he's missed it altogether.
Oh, goodness. That is outrageous. That's outrageous. Little nudge on the bump of the middle. He'll take it, though, after a few things. Probably thinking he deserved that one. It's a very big frame for Tom, isn't it? And more so than Zhang, in a way. Obviously, Zhang needs to win it too. He's got to get to 10 frames. But, you know, if Tom Ford lost this one and went 4 down with 5 to play, you feel that that would be the game would probably be up by then.
Gotta say, this crowd really are living every shot of this match. I think it will absolutely be judged as a big success, this tournament. New venue, new city for snooker. It's been terrific. Well, not the best cue ball this time, didn't make the baulk line. Yeah, it just gave Zhang the chance to play the good safety. Tom Ford is the one under pressure right now, clearly, trying to keep Zhang on 8.
Well, some of the frames in this evening's session have taken a similar pattern to this one. Fairly slow to get going with good safety, but one mistake has often sort of mid-frame resulted in the other player pressing on with their best chance. So this frame could be the same. Safety will be essential. Balls are in good places should the chance arrive. Zhang has played a good shot there. He's left the red to the right, but I mean that's very dangerous to be playing that red. Cue ball heading back towards the bunch. Not sure he's got the most straightforward return to baulk otherwise though. That was very thin. That was a difficult shot to play. To hit the other side, the outside of that red. You've only got to catch it too thick, and exactly what did happen was likely. He almost got to aim to miss the red. The red on the black spot looks to be the option. There's a red at the top of the bunch which may just creep past as well.
One.
Well, as he played on that red through the gap between the pink when respotted and the red below it. Not a very big gap. May look a little bit more sizable from the low camera angle. Yeah, there's quite a bit of room, I suppose. But as I say, the frames have been taking a similar pattern. The forward safety shot might get punished, as it has been in the main for the most part of this session, depending on the next few shots. Pretty decent opportunity, this.
$14. 15.
Well, the pink is taking him slightly away from the reds. The black certainly away from the reds, but can he get on one? Because it's not that clear which red is available of those 7 that are in the middle of the table. Wow, he's played on this bottom red, and if this goes in,
22.
then he's got reds that could be taken off from the black to left or right middle. And we know that they're going in along the cushion, but you've still got to hit them well. Big shot this. Plenty of rewards if it goes in. Well, that was never in. Even from the overhead we could see that. Sometimes a difficult
Down
camera
by
angle.
22.
Well, the only thing about that, it wasn't an easy red. He didn't twitch an easy one. It was tough. Didn't really get close to the pot, but as I say, not straightforward.
No, I mean, it's one of those, had he got really close to it, it might have just stayed over the pocket. So he missed it by far enough for it to
Yeah, I mean, Tom Ford obviously would like to have been left something there, but equally, he didn't want to see Zhang pot it, so at least he didn't continue the break. It could have been frame over.
Yeah, I mean, there was a consolation, like you say, because these frames have been sort of won in a scoring visit from midway through the frame. This one is not going to be done so. But Zhang has got a chance to get a good cue ball here. He's looking in behind green over that side of the table. Something to get the cue ball to the baulk cushion anyway. Tom ruining the fact that he's not on that red, which he well could have been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he has had the running, but, you know, look, it's a bit like the weather. You can't control it. What you must try and do, obviously, is, you know, take the slings and arrows as they come. It's not easy. He's had some particularly bad luck in this frame, really. But just try and keep some heart and don't give anything away cheaply. Try and earn another opening. He's still in this final. I've seen plenty of matches won from the situation, but fewer from 9-5, clearly.
Well, that's not great. I mean, he has left a possible red to left middle. I don't know whether Zhang really would like to play it, because he's got a pretty easy safety shot on the right-hand red. I think it was a bit straighter. He could roll it in and then get a snooker, even if there was no pot available. But it's a thin pot, and he doesn't want to give Ford anything at this stage. Why is he playing this red? Surely he's going to have to move the red from the right side. Well, it's a good enough shot, I suppose. He trusted his cue ball control to cover that right-hand red. Yeah, that's pretty good. And again, that red on the right is one that both players are trying to avoid leaving from safety shots. Oh, goodness me, what a shot that is. What a shot. Again, he really trusted himself.
One.
Because it's all very well saying you've got a gap to go through. And you will go through it, but it's only if the pot goes in. The gap's more relevant if you miss the pot, but then the cue ball often is not on the same line if you miss the pot. Superb. Big trouble now. Big trouble.
There you go, Tom, easy.
Well, he can't complain this time. I can assure you that was all luck. I mean, it's trying to be pragmatic, I suppose, in that by hitting it at pace, you're trying to hopefully fluke one or do something. But, I mean, the cue ball finishing there, amazing.
Now then, Tom Ford knows that last shot could have been his last shot of this frame, but he's got a chance here, and he's at the stage of the final. He's getting some support. He's at the stage of the final where he's got to start taking them.
Yeah, that last shot might turn into some kind of a game changer. A lot of this game is psychological, isn't it? But I didn't fancy Zhang to pop that red, having known that there was always a chance he'd be on something a lot easier when he played that snooker.
8.
A little bit of movement from Zhang on the red. It was tough. What a chance for Tom.
16. $23. $24.
Well, the score was a little slow to update there, as you can see, but more relevant is this shot he's left with now. Oh dear. It was hard to think how that could have been a better chance, a golden chance, and positionally he broke down, had a chance to recover it, but didn't get very close to that pink.
No, and the cue came down. He knows that that was a golden chance and may not get another in this frame. Not necessarily the end of the road, but a massive blow if he does now lose this frame. That seems likely because it was in his hands and you couldn't blame luck really that time.
$8. $9.
Well, you felt like you sort of saw in the script a turning point with the snooker escape, which he got lucky, and then the subsequent chance.
16.
You know, but the scripts really have been ripped up in the last few weeks, I suppose, with some of the players that are doing well, certainly with Zhang Anda. This coming, this massive improvement in form. That was not a good shot.
17.
He's okay, but it's not perfectly on this pink to hold for the yellow. He should be right. He's already looking at the long route all around the angles. Does he have to do that? Or can he hold? He wouldn't really want to go around the table unless you had to. Yeah, I always thought he could. He was looking at the scenic route to get onto the yellow. But he only wants yellow and green.
23.
Well, I think in snooker, there's only one thing worse than not getting a chance. That's getting one and not taking it. Ford had a good one, a golden one, actually, having had a bit of luck in the frame. But it's another one that's gone away from him, and this final has surely now gone away from him as well, unless Zhang Anda struggles to close it out, and he will be under pressure to do so. But he's got a cushion of 4 frames.
32.
I think we thought early on tonight that this would be nip and tuck all the way, but Ford has slightly fallen away here. Zhang Anda still standing up to it.
He's playing superbly, isn't he? I mean, yes, there's been the odd error,
37.
but in general, you know, he has been at short range, long range, safety, break building, of course, the 147. Telling you exactly that. All boxes are being ticked.
And he needs one more frame to win the International Championship. What moments in the career of Zhang Anda. 9-5 in Tianjin. Well, the crowd here certainly getting excited for Zhang Anda. He's not won yet, though. He still needs one more frame. He's a big favourite at 9-5, of course, to secure the £175,000 first prize. What a windfall. And as I said earlier, you could probably add another 100 onto that in various spin-offs and getting in tournaments and just becoming a top player, which is what he will be. He'll be in the top 16.
And who could argue with it? Now, how do you become a top player? That's win something. And he's on the brink of that.
Can Ford find something when he needs it? Not to be. Looking rather anxiously.
Didn't get very close to it, Dave, did he? That was poorly struck. At the moment, the don't know, maybe the pressure's got to him, or there's something about the occasion where he's just not playing quite as well as the man he's up against. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's gone the other way, hasn't it? To the semi-final, where in the second session he vastly improved, actually. He was superb. Been trying to make things happen, but he's walking on a bit of a cliff edge at the moment, knowing that at any moment he could give Zhang the chance he needs to get it won. That's a good one, though.
Yeah, just thinking that. He missed the other red by a way. That one he punched in, so maybe a bit of the Tom Ford magic could return. He could play a little more quickly and get a couple of frames won in about 20 minutes or so, and who knows. Oh, great effort, great shot. And it's actually worked out well.
5.
Well, it's apparent that there's many people there would love to see some sort of comeback. They want to get their full money's worth in this final. Tom Ford has got himself in nicely now. He's had 7 centuries in the tournament. His highest break today, 93.
13. 14.
He's not very happy with it.
21.
He has got a red to the middle. He's got the red, but he'll need the spider to pot it to the right corner.
27. 28. 33.
Well, I guess if he could start making breaks, if he could say to Zhang Anda, OK, if you give me one chance, I'm going to win the frame, then that is going to make him think clearly.
40.
But all the time, he's got to be mindful of cutting out all errors himself.
I think this is where he's a very strong player. He's got a lovely touch, as I said earlier in the session. Beautiful touch around the pink and black
47.
when things are all going well. Not sure what's gone wrong so far in this evening's session. Maybe
48.
a couple of safety errors, and he's not had that many chances. OK, the last frame, he missed that pink up into the yellow pocket. Pressure was getting to him by then, but just been outwitted, I think, by Zhang this evening.
$55.
Well, he hasn't won the frame yet, and he's now faced with a not so easy shot up into the top right. Got close to it.
55.
He may have left a red to the left middle here. Yeah, he certainly had left it, although positionally he's got a bit of a problem now. The black's tough, going away from the high value, well, from the reds, I should say.
Foul.
Well, we didn't get to see much of it,
Down 1.
but I think you can probably guess what happened. The in off to the middle is on those shots. And this is the view. G will beat the object ball to the pocket.
Yeah, nicely done. So, back in to his great relief. The blue would put him 67 in front with 67 on, so he would need one more red as well to close to 9-6. Got to keep the belief. Tom Ford has seen enough snooker down the years to know that they're never over till it's finally over. We've seen finals turn. We've seen players fail to close out victories. Little bits of luck can come into play.
7.
So you have to try and keep that belief. What would Mark Selby do? He's a great friend from Leicester. He would still believe at this point he could win. So 75, the
Tom
lead
Ford,
with 59
14.
on.
And frame.
Zhang, yeah, I think he was just working out the scores there, too far behind. So the rot has been stopped. Tom Ford still in trouble, but not yet out of this final. Zhang still needs one. He did have the chance, went in off the black. So the final continues. 9-6, Tom Ford breaks off in frame 16 of a possible 19. Zhang did have a chance in that last frame, but missed that thin black. Well, he didn't miss the black, he went in off the middle. Tom Ford already in front, picked up the pieces. Remember, the immediate issue for the winner is they'll be in Bolton on Wednesday to play in the Champion of Champions against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Oh, that's superb. That is superb.
One.
I don't think anyone thinks the middle pockets are easy. Have to be so precise with those.
Yeah, two good shots to get himself halfway in with a chance. Clearly, this bunch will need to be opened up, whether he does it from a colour or he tries to get on that red below the bunch that's out on his own low in a couple of shots. They are the options.
Yeah, it's just a phone sounding again, which is not helpful when you're trying to focus.
Well, he played it in such a way that he would
7.
open the reds up. Now Tom immediately, because he thinks not always on the upbeat side, he's worried about knocking a red in, which obviously you've got to be concerned about it, but that's the reason he never played into them. Next shot is very big now from there, the pot,
12.
and indeed getting onto the colour, which is not assured. Nice shot. Very good.
13.
Another chance, and this is his best chance to turn it round, to do it playing this attacking snooker that is his best game. And we've seen it this week, and we may be seeing it now at just the right time.
21. $28. 29.
Yeah, this is, as you say, his strength, all right. Well, he had plenty of options there. He might have played a little further up the table, but red to middle, no problem.
36.
Up for the blue, top side. Nothing, you would say, in his immediate path that should be able to stop him.
$42. 43. $50. $51.
How about that? From absolutely nowhere, he's missed that. Thinking about the cue ball perhaps a little bit. Goodness me, what a time to miss one of those.
Yes, and you could see the obvious and understandable disappointment. He may have played his last shot. It's up to Zhang.
It's a very uncomfortable feeling, isn't it? Thinking it could be your last shot. I mean, it's not an easy little shot to begin with. But really, that's not the worst table to be trying to clear up from. The only thing I would say, I'm not sure Zhang expected it. He looked as surprised to be back at the table as Tom did, having missed it. So he might have been mentally getting ready to be 9-7 down. Now he's got this chance to get it all over, 10-6.
$8. $9.
Well, just a month ago, he was in the 50s in the rankings. He was sort of in that category, I suppose, journeyman. No one really wants to be described as that. Never really gone particularly deep in tournaments.
16.
A couple of crucible appearances, quarterfinals, but not really seen, I don't think, by many as a tournament winner. That all changed in Brentwood when he got to the final there. Led Judd Trump 7-3. Took the positives from the good run in that event.
17.
And this week, he's been superb. He's beaten the likes of Mark Williams, Ding Junhui, Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's made a maximum in this final. He's made 10 centuries in the tournament. And he has a chance here now to land the trophy. Some turnaround in fortunes.
24. $25.
Yeah, I mean, if you're ranked in the 50s, you know, you're worried about your tour place. And, of course, you've gone off, as we've explained before. So that's a precarious position to be sitting in. 50-something in the world. And that's a thing of the past. Just gone a bit too far there. It's in between shots. This is not nice.
30.
I mean, do you play to cut this to the left corner? Into a blind pocket? That's what he's thinking about. Decidedly missable. He's got an angle to just run in behind that red on the left. Be interested to see how he plays it. Now what does he do? Can just drop it in and get over to that left cushion, or does he want to play it out onto the red into a corner bag? That's absolutely perfectly played. It was a bit of a distance away from the cushion to be playing the cannon.
38.
He just brought it slightly into a better place. And the other red is not dissimilar where it's situated on the right to where the last one was. Well, the next shot is a very big one. I can't believe he'd be doing
39.
anything but playing in behind this one. This time surely to the right cushion. Either left middle or left corner, depending on where he lands. Even better. Even better.
46.
Except that he's now stretching. Now, had he been just this side of the blue, it would have been an absolute perfect place to be. But he's just got more work on now. Tom missed a black off the spot right behind it. I don't think he's missed many of those this week.
For me, one of the most impressive things about him, he's just, it seems impossible to rattle. He's got this air of cool. However he's feeling inside, he always looks calm. Can he stay calm for the next moment or two? Three years ago, he dropped off the tour. We might never have seen him again. Got back on and has had the month of his life, but this is boiling up now to the moment of his life.
Yes, and he won't need the black. That's a pretty crucial
55.
point in this. If he gets low on this blue, with the pink down there, then the pressure almost is released. Oh, that looks absolutely A1. Goodness me, this is terrific. I'll just bounce it in and be faced with a straightish pink. And it'll be the biggest shot of his career by a long way.
Well, Tom Ford was looking good to win this frame. He missed unexpectedly. This is championship ball. What a performance from Zhang. Just a few weeks ago, he was languishing in the middle ranks. He got to the final of the English Open, and he's come here to Tianjin and has played superbly. 10 centuries in the tournament, a maximum in the final, and he has beaten Tom Ford 10-6 to land the trophy and the £175,000 first prize. And in addition to all of that, he gets in the top 16, he gets in the Champion of Champions, the Players' Series, basically everything. His entire career turned around here, and he did it, as I say, with that cool demeanour, with that calmness, that serenity. We saw it in the maximum earlier on. We've seen it again there, the way he closed the match out. He just needed that one chance when Ford missed the black, and he did it. And Zhang becomes the 6th Chinese player, the 75th player in total to win a world ranking event. And what a big one to win. And the crowd here, you can see, absolutely delighted for him. They're clamouring for a handshake or two. Couldn't be happier for him. They played their part in what's been just a fantastic week of snooker. And he's going to get the rewards very soon, the presentation, the trophy, the cheque, and much to look forward to. He'll have to book his flight, won't he, back to the UK tomorrow to play in Bolton on Wednesday in the Champion of Champions against Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm sure Matchroom are already knocking up the shirt he's going to wear, because, of course, they have the special shirts there. They need one for Zhang now. You can see they're just getting the trophy into position, and moment Zhang I'm sure has long been dreaming of, and it's become a reality here. This has been a really good tournament. The standard's been great. Obviously, conditions right from day one were conducive to scoring. We've seen that. We've seen big crowds, a lot of drama, and it's just great to have snooker back in China. And you know, you hear some people talk about snooker as if it's still 1980 and there's only 3 tournaments. There aren't. The circuit has evolved massively and for the better, and we now have a. And that, of course, translates to ranking points. Hence, he goes up to number 15 in the world, or 16. I think Zhang actually is just above him now. But anyway, he got into that elite group, so he'll be seeded at the UK Championship in a few weeks.
好，接下来让我们有请世界职业比利和斯诺克协会主席福泽胜先生为球员颁发奖牌。
Now let's welcome Mr. Jason Ferguson, President of the World Professional.
Jason Ferguson, the chairman of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association. Of course, a lot of work's gone into getting this event on. A new city, a lot of work with the local authorities here, the sponsors, the administrators, and no better man than Jason for that.
好，我们也感谢福泽胜先生。好，朋友们，接下来为大家宣布获得2023世界斯诺克国际锦标赛冠军的是张安达。
The champion of the 2023 World Snooker International Championship, Zhang Anda.
好，首先让我们有请
this is
中国
what, of
台
course, the
球
whole
中
week
国
has
台
been
球协
about
会代理
the
秘书
trophy,
长高坤
and
鹏
there we have
来
our
为张
champion,
安达颁发花环。有请
Zhang Anda,
Now let's welcome Mr. Gao Kunpeng, Acting Secretary General of
who's going to get that trophy shortly and the cheque for 175,000. Another round of flowers as well.
我们一块来合影。
2个花环戴在了张安达的身上，意味着他在这次比赛当中取得了卓越的成绩。
没错，收获满满。好，谢谢您。好，接下来让我们再次有请世界职业比利和斯诺克协会主席先生
I'm
为
sure
张
it's
安达
special as well.
来
In
颁
fact,
发
goes without
支
saying
票
to。do it on home
Now
soil.
let's welcome Mr. Jason Ferguson, President of the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association, to award a check to Zhang Anda.
好，我们也看
There's
到
that cheque
冠
just
军的奖
confirming
金是
是多少呢？
175,000
50,000英镑。
祝贺！
好，祝贺安达。
It represents before, if you take off what happened already this season,
那么接下来，
so coming into this season, that's worth about half his entire career prize money. So
天津市体育局局长、党组书记李克敏
week it's been
为
for him.
张安达颁发冠军奖杯。
Now please welcome Mrs. Li Kemin, Director and Party Secretary of Tianjin Sports Bureau, to present the trophy to the Zhang Anda, the championship.
好，我们也大家用掌声祝贺安达捧起了沉
it's a very
甸甸的
distinctive
奖
trophy,
杯，
and it
祝
is
贺
now
安
in the
达。
hands of our champion, Zhang Anda, who has come through the pack superbly this week.
祝贺张安达
And no one can argue that he's the deserving winner. The performances he's put in, the scoring he's done, the breaks he's made.
我们来一块儿进行最后的合影留念。
Now we'd like to invite all the guests to take a picture with us.
好，我们最后请各位记录下这珍贵的瞬间。在这里呢，我们的2023世界斯诺克国际锦标赛到这里就圆满结束了。再次感谢各位球迷朋友们的热情参与。
Everyone getting their pictures. Obviously, Tom Ford, I think we'd rather now sort of leave the stage for Zhang. But that concludes the International Championship, and it's been a memorable week, not least for the man in the middle there with the trophy, Zhang Anda. It's a heavy one, isn't it? But there it is, our champion.
好，安达也将冠军奖杯展现给天津球迷们。
此时此刻，我们要把掌声献给每一位在今年斯诺克赛场上奋勇拼搏的球员们。
I think the crowd have really helped make this a special week. They've been so enthusiastic. And as you can see, a lot of them will be here for the first time at Snooker Course Tianjin, staging the event for the first time. But they like what they've seen. The maximum was a great highlight, and they have a home winner in Zhang, who we will now be seeing a lot more of this season.